we are taught that in every generation there are 36 hidden tzaddikim. Is this meant to be taken literally?
I don't know. I don't think so. Is that an answer? There's a Gemara that discusses different levels of tzaddikim. There's 18,000 tzaddikim that exist, and then there's 36 tzaddikim, and then there's a few tzaddikim, and then there is what's called Bnei Aliyah, the greatest of tzaddikim, and then there's tzaddik Yisei Delim, one tzaddik who is the foundation of the whole world. How do I know this? I know this because there's a sikh in Lekutei Sichos Chelik Daled, Pirkei Avos, Perek Daled, I believe, where the Rebbe lists five categories of tzaddikim. There's many lower levels of tzaddikim. There's a 36 higher level of tzaddikim. And then beyond that, you have even higher levels of tzaddikim, Bnei Aliyah, and then, of course, like I said before, Ta'is Madreges, Tzaddik Yisei Delim. I don't know what these things mean, and I don't know how these things exist in our generation. I once heard from a Chassidish Sharid a very wonderful commentary. He said there's tzaddikim today. The tzaddikim today are different than they used to be. Why? In the olden days, they were hidden tzaddikim. Today, the tzaddikim are hidden from themselves. They don't realize themselves that tzaddikim. I thought that was a very wonderful observation. But what I want to say, now that you're asking the question, is you really need to think about our generation. Historically, Jewish people had tzaddikim. If you go back long enough, to the times of the Nevi'im, Vayisrishin, and even times of the Tanoim, there were hundreds of tzaddikim. And taka tzaddikim, like it's brought in Tanya, tzaddikim, gemurim, or the Yetzer Hara was transformed into a Yetzer Tov, and the whole thing. The Chassidus, the Baal Shem Tov, introduced a whole new radiation of tzaddikim. And we know stories to the effect that the Chassidish tzaddikim were much greater than the tzaddikim that came before them. There's a very famous story with the Magid, that the Rabbi Kalina was a little boy, and he was an orphan. His father, Rabbi Arna Godel Kalina, had passed away at a very young age, and this boy was 7, I think, Reb Oshel, and he was a Mizrich, and there was a very choshev Yid, a Barurian, who felt that the Rabbi Oshel Kalina, this little 7-year-old boy, disrespected him. So he came to the Magid to complain. So the Magid said to this Yid that I want to tell you who this little boy is. But before I tell you who this little boy is, I need to tell you who you are. This Gadol was a descendant of the Bach and of the Megala Mukis, of Nosson Shapiro. He was a Makubal Nifla, a Makubal Alaki. And so he told him something about the Bach. He told him a very famous story about the Megala Mukis of Nosson Shapiro. When he finished, he said, and those two tzaddikim would give away everything they have to look through a crack at the Gan Eden of this boy's father. It was the Talmud of the Magid. In other words, in Chassidus, there was a radiation of tzaddikim, which is really greater than tzaddikim that had been before the onset of Chassidus. And while we're talking about tzaddikim, I think I saw it someplace. I certainly heard it, but I think I saw it in one of the Ma'aseh Bichlach. In other words, not from the Rabbeim, from Chassidim, that one of the Rabbeim said that the Misnagdim complained. How come the Eibusha gave all the tzaddikim to Chassidim? How come the Misnagdim was having tzaddikim? So the answer was they were given Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, and they did not know how to value him, which is a very interesting story. That one of the Rabbeim, I think one of our Rabbeim said, that the taina was, how come by Eilam there's no tzaddikim? And they gave him Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, and they didn't value him enough. I heard once in the name of the Rebbe, that the Rebbe said about the Chafetz Chaim, whom the Rebbe in his letter refers to as a tzaddik, that he was the Rebbe from the Litvische, the Rebbe of the Misnagdim. But in any case, think about the times in which we live. There's no tzaddikim. It's amazing. Chassidus, before the Holocaust, had very big people. You go back 150 years, 200 years, they were the greatest tzaddikim imaginable. It was a golden age of tzaddikim. What do we have? We have nothing. It's a generation of orphans. It's unprecedented. Now, of course, why? Why are there no tzaddikim today and there were tzaddikim years and years ago? There's a number of answers. Logical answers. In other words, nobody knows. First of all, our lives are not so hard. There's no pogroms. And we're not being killed. We don't need that kind of support. We're able to take care of ourselves. In other words, the tzaddikim gave us what they needed to give us, and we can live as oi because our lives are not so hard. There's also the incredible Yeridas HaDeiros. The generations are so dark that it's very, very difficult for the neshamas of tzaddikim to come into this world. The Rebbe spoke in Tafshin and Aleph, I think, that now anybody who wishes can become a tzaddik. So there's people who go around thinking, well, the Rebbe said anybody who wishes to become a tzaddik, that must mean we are tzaddikim. But I don't think the Rebbe said that. The Rebbe said you can become a tzaddik. Becoming a tzaddik is not an easy affair. The point is that when you think about the idea that although Torah says in every generation there's a certain number of tzaddikim, and we're living in an unbelievably dark time, such a Deir Yossi, since the Holocaust, all there is a Rebbe. And there's, so to speak, no support, there's no Shishim Giboidim, there's nothing else. And you look at the Maimed de Matzav of Klal Yisrael, you have to say, it's pretty impressive. As much as we know how hard our lives are, spiritually speaking, and how much we're suffering, and people are falling out, right? What do they call it now? OTD, off the derech, which is a tragedy. But if you think about the Maimed de Matzav Yidden today, and the increase in Torah, and the increase in Yiras Shamayim, and the increase in Frumkeit, all across the board, by Chassidim, by the Misnagdim, by the Ashkenazim, by the Sfadim, we're living in amazing times. Amazing times. The times of Mashiach.